Mr. Dunn. He's back for part 2.
I am indeed.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
No, but thank you. Give me up your time again, this time in the afternoon, which is always good.
Yeah.
But yeah, cheers.
I'm taking our lass to the cinema to watch that new Evil Dead Rise tonight. She's not really a horror kind of person, but obviously I can see her jumping in her seat tonight, probably because I'll be tickling my neck, making her shit herself. So, all good.
I must admit, me and the missus don't like. We're not horror fans.
I think these days I'm a bit more jumpier, more squirmy to gruesome bits. Yeah. Like here's a film. It's not renowned for great acting because there's not much acting in it. It's basically a very gory film, and from press play to finish, it's just a gore fest. And it's what do you call it? Again, it begins with a J, not Jeepers Creepers. Oh, I'll get back to you on that anyways. But
his mind's gone.
It just eluded me. I hate when you start talking and then when you're telling it, people are like, "Oh, what is it? What is it?" And then you go, "Oh, fuck, I forgot it.
I forgot what it is."
Like, you've just built us up. You've built us up. I want to watch this gruesome film that you speak of, and you can't even remember the name. Yes, for that, Nick. You absolute sausage.
Yeah,
never
that's a great insult as well. Sausage. I like using sausage as an insult.
Oh, I've got a vast array of wording to use. Like some people, like including my lass, just looks at me and just shakes her head and says, "How do you talk like that?"
Yeah, it's
like
it's
you
a
can
skill.
create scenarios. Yeah, it is a skill, and it means you've been in the military.
Yeah,
because you know when you're trying to talk to someone and they physically, it's not they can't think outside the box. They fucking won't, and you're like explaining if we do something this way, it'll be less time and it'll be better.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. And I'm like, I'm going to be 5 seconds away from hitting you.
Fucking Brecon Point comes out as well. Yeah. I use the phrase that was handed down to me by a flight sergeant when I was in Bastion, because he used to say it constantly, because this is how he felt when he was on tour. He was like, "How am I supposed to soar with the eagles when I'm surrounded by turkeys?" And I was like, I'm using that forever. I use it at work all the time. It's even on our big whiteboard that we got. I've got it in quotation marks because I'm literally surrounded by turkeys.
I read a book in prison, right? And it was army military slang, abbreviations, you name it. And honestly, we all read various books in prison. On my window ledge was the library. And I remember when we had the monsoon, all the wind blew all the books on my bed. When I was in it, I was like covered in books. But yeah, we read one of those books, and you can tell one of the blokes was reading it because you could hear them giggling under that.
Just giggling away, yeah.
Just giggling away, and you know when you haven't heard one of those words in years, and you're like, and then you go back to the memory of when you heard it, and it's like everything's crystal clear because there's a scenario on how that wording came about. It wasn't just someone just saying it in a sentence. It was in reference to someone.
Yeah, definitely.
Something.
Definitely. Like, that phrase, that quote automatically transports me back to the command center in Bastion and having all these bigwigs around, and then Flight Sergeant Feezy just coming in, and he would call everyone a turkey. Like he was like, fucking turkeys everywhere. And then he just came out with that quote, and I was like, that is the best thing I have ever fucking heard. I loved it forever.
I loved it when we rocked up in Bastion in the MVs before the rest of the army got the Jackal and all. We literally had the MV, and we had to put the light body armor on before, obviously, you started seeing them more. And we were obviously cutting around with baseball caps, scraggy hair, beards, different cam and different armor, and we were just cutting about Bastion, and the camp's RSM went, who the fuck do you think yous are cutting around here with your baseball cap, fucking hair, fucking sideys, you fucking who? And we're like, who's this fucking chopper? And then next minute, our boss in like the proper Queen's English went, excuse me, Sergeant Major, I suggest you fuck off. These are my men, and we'll do what the fuck we want. And he went, yes, sir. And then
yes, love all that.
And we were just thinking, this is why we're hated.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you put that aura, and you are in the Parachute Regiment, but not only in the Parachute Regiment, you're working alongside with Special Forces. You've got that little aura. We never thought we were special, like Special Forces.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, though.
We never, but it was the catch-22. You were told to act like them, be like them, mirror them, because you're going to be working with them, potentially doing operations for them. So you need to be like them. And then as soon as we were doing that, we were brought back to earth. You're a paratrooper. Like when we're in fucking Iraq, man. Like I love wearing my reg top, but like as platoon commander goes on leave, your sergeant goes on leave, you're left with the fucking lance corporals and full screws, and they're like, yeah, we'll be like 90s reg, so we're cutting around fucking Baghdad, fucking skinheads, reg top and jeans, because we couldn't fucking go on ops. And like I remember one of the dog handlers on the squadron guys, he goes, Nick, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, I love the reg, but like fucking hell, man, we're on ops here, man, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you got to play the game a little bit.
Like cutting around, and the Yanks are just going, who the fuck are these?
Who are these fucking cowboys?
They look like absolute renegades. They look like they're gonna steal your fucking trainers. Why
you probably fucking would.
We had a couple of fucking scousers.
There's definitely some scallies there trying to fucking half-inch.
Honestly, we were changing our kit with the Yanks, and they're giving proper shit stuff, and the Yanks like, whoa, man, this is totally amazing. Yeah, just get that fucking getting rid of our gash kit.
Yeah.
Fuck off. And they're giving us fucking men shit, and we're like, fucking Bobby Dazzler, this. Fucking how do you talk? Fucking seeing you, cunt, I'm away, mate.
I will swap you this rifle sling for that fucking Gerber.
They get everything, man.
They get some Gucci kit, though, to be fair.
They get some Gucci kit, man.
Yeah.
And we get literally fuck all, but there's a reason we appreciate it, and that's why we're better soldiers than them.
Oh, I think I
Special Forces, don't get me wrong, second to none, because they learn from ours. But the rest of their army is just a shower of fucking shit.
Yeah, just fucking bods, aren't they?
They're literally fucking bods. But at the end of the day, everyone is just like a fucking cog in the big fucking wheel. We all play our part to support.
The funniest guy I ever saw was a Yank that was in the command center with me on my last tour, and he would turn up. So obviously, when you're in the command center, you sign your rifle in, so then you get the sidearm because of this fucking pointless carrying the fucking rifle around all day. Anyway, he rocks up. He's got his M4, which is, I was like, fair enough. But then he's also got a sidearm, and he's got about 4 or 5 different knives. I'm pretty sure he had a hatchet somewhere as well. And I was like, dude, we work in probably the most secure building on site. We are in the command center with like fucking FP commanders fucking everywhere, fucking barcodes everywhere, pips everywhere. It's like, why have you got every weapon system under the sun with you? It's fucking unreal. He was like, you never know, man. I'm like, okay, you're a little bit paranoid, I think, my son.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely. Like we had our own internet. Obviously, we stayed outside of Bastion, but obviously where stores was Bastions, so we were now and again pick up fresh stores and kit and equipment from Bastion and go back to our little mountain resort. Well, there was a mountain nearby, and just a little camp in the middle of fucking the desert. And one of the signal blokes was a fucking computer fucking geek, wasn't he? Where he installed fucking the internet Wi-Fi over there. That. Well, this is the British military as a whole, not the army, the navy, the RAF. As a whole, they'll see something and they'll go, we can put a serial number on that, or we'll charge the men for it. So what they done was, your fucking ops pay and all that.
Yeah.
They try to scrap that or give you a bit less because you had a home comfort, the internet.
Oh, fucking cunts.
So basically, the fucking signal bloke, I think he sabotaged it. He went, well, we don't have internet now.
Yeah.
And then all the blokes were like, I was on the fucking phone to my wife, you stupid.
Yeah. Why are you taking the morale away?
You took the morale. So he was like that. Fuck.
Like, yeah, it's like I either take it away or you're getting charged for it. It's like,
so I think the worked out that wouldn't get charged, but I think the next company afterwards they were charged. It was like all the kit we got, like fucking GPSs, three goodie bag, fucking Gucci kit, and then they went, right, that Gucci bit of kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, what GPS? You know the GPS you got in your bag? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Did I sign for it? No. Well,
because you knew what was coming.
Yeah, that seems like a kind of a you problem. If I didn't sign for it, whoops.
But yeah, there was a GPS. I can't remember.
Yeah, don't remember you giving me that.
You best find it. I was like, find what though? And they were like, I know what you're doing. I said, I know what you're doing as well. You're taking my Gucci kit off us. However, I don't believe I've got this Gucci kit. But there was a few other people, like the new blokes, were like, "Here you go, Sergeant." And I was like, "What the fuck? Did you say you lost it?"
Yeah, it's gone now.
Where is it? Where's your GPS? Oh, it's somewhere fucking downtown Baghdad.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a fucking story about Baghdad, man. Like I used to wear contacts before I got laser eye surgery, and we're in Baghdad during the day, and it was dusty as fuck. And I lost one of my contact lenses, my left one, thankfully. And I'm walking around. I've got me fucking kit on. I've got the ladders, so I'm holding the ladders with me on my left shoulder. I'm walking around like that, and I've got my weapon, and I'm thinking, like, if the shit hits the fan, I'm fucked. I can't fucking see.
Yeah.
I'm losing the money. And I was getting my eye washed out by the men. He says, do you have another contact lens? I said, aye. He says, right, no bother. I chucked that in, and it was stinging because obviously my eye was fucking bloodshot the fuck. No sooner I put that second contact lens in, it was like that, fuck. And that's it, it's gone. So I must have still had a bit of grit under my eyelid, and it's
nice.
So I've gone through 2 monthly pairs of lenses in a split second. So and the rest of my lenses, because I only had one lens to replace, so I had to finish, and I was the driver. So I'm driving
hell. Yeah. Driving around like fucking Popeye.
It was a fucking nightmare, man. Nightmare.
Yeah, mate. It's mad that I've got a bit of a story about doing a foot patrol in Kandahar, but it was one of those where you knew that it was going to be a shit patrol anyway. Like it was pissed down with rain, and you know that as soon as you go out on a footsie, you're not going to be able to get any grip on your feet. You're going to be slipping everywhere.
Mm.
It's like you want to turn to the boss and just go, "What is the point in this foot patrol now? We're going to be." It was literally as soon as we stepped outside of camp, it was like a fucking Benny Hill sketch. We're all fucking on our ass. It's like if we get into a contact now, like we're fucked because none of us can fucking stand up.
I know days in the calendar, we as military always think and hope that you don't do anything. Unfortunately, in the real world, terror stops for no man, no matter what.
Doesn't take a day off.
There's no day off.
Nah.
The amount of times you heard people get injured or killed on a Christmas Day patrol. Like, fuck me, I was stood in a Baghdad fucking alley for about 10 fucking hours on Christmas Day. We didn't have our Christmas food and all that till the early hours, Boxing Day morning, which a food fight started till a TV dropped on one of the blokes' head, and then that was it. You made the mess, lads. You can clean it up. I'm thinking, hang on, you will make and
they've gone.
And they've gone. Basically, they were the first one launching an apple of someone's fucking and then all hell breaks loose. And then when someone gets injured, they just side door it and go, "You made the mess, gents. You tied up while they're bugged out." And you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. But like, it's just one of those. Like, it's shit. It was shit. Like, and then after that, we're gated for 2 weeks because they were, sorting paperwork out and whether we could still feeling that would be bouncing to Afghan. But it's mad when you're in them kind of countries and you see it absolute piss down. Because when you're at home and you think of Iraq,
you think of the desert. Yeah, you're like sun all day.
Desert, it doesn't rain. But what people don't realise is, when you go back to Bravo 20, it was fucking snowing.
Yeah. Well, they got frostbite, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. And when people say that, they go,
"Well,
in the desert."
I was explaining that to my daughters because they ask questions every now and then. They were like, "Does it get cold in the desert?" I went, "Yeah, fucking freezing." They're like, "What?" And I went, "Well, one night I was out in
the next, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like one day it was fucking red hot, and then as soon as the sun went down, it went down to about minus 15. I was like, I could see the frost forming on my sleeping bag.
Obviously, I am aware of the Khyber Pass and the mountain area in northern Afghanistan. I'm totally aware of that because our op team that did all the poppies and all that, they were all stationed up there and doing their sneaky peeky fucking shit, dressing like locals. Obviously, I couldn't dress like a local. I'm fucking blonde, aren't I? And pale fucking skin.
Yeah,
so
you could try.
I would have to use our lass's fake tan fucking to fucking pass off as an Afghan, like, you know what I mean? But there was some blokes, like, I remember bumping into one of the blokes back in camp, and he was on his R&R, and I didn't even recognise him. I thought he was some fucking scruff. I thought he was one of the Terps because he just blended in. He was one of those dark-haired, dark-skinned kind of guys. When they're on the piss, they're like, "I'm going to fuck you, girls," kind of. But when they're on ops, they're like, fucking steely-eyed, fucking Afghan lookalike killing machine, and you're like, "I'm not like to see you down the back alley." I fucking shit myself when I was cutting around Sterling lines in the dark. I thought some bloke's going to jump out the fucking hedge and put us in a headlock and leave us to wake up after passing out, getting choked out. That was my first when I first went there. I was fucking nervous as fuck. I was shitting myself.
Yeah,
because you never really know who's who because they all cut around in fucking cities.
They just cut around. Yeah, because I'm originally from Hereford, and you get a lot of lads that go out on the piss that are obviously assigned to 2 but aren't regiment. And I remember one lad on the piss. He came up to me and went, "Do you know who I fucking am?" I was like, no, mate, you're going to have to explain. And he was like, I'm fucking sass. And I just looked at him and went, if you were, you wouldn't have said it. You would have just fucking hit me. I was like,
My
get out my face.
my cousin, he's not too sure if he's a staff sergeant or a sergeant major in the Army. He was attached to Hereford many years ago. He says where they've just got their own Remy regiment attached, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, my old man was the jump instructor in Hereford. That's why we moved there. And yeah, the amount of people that think he was sass, but he's always like, no. I was attached to. I would never say.
No, definitely. I hear it's like 7 RHA. They always go wear 7 para. I'm like, whoa. I suggest you fucking rein your fucking reins in, you fucking whopper. You what? 7 para? The last time there was a fucking 7 para was in fucking back in the day. And you need to stop living off that shit. It's like when people do pay company, well, I wish there's a paratrooper. Well, no. She's got to jump with an aeroplane first. So therefore she's parachute trained. She's not a paratrooper. She ain't done week 1, day 1. But fair play to her. She was able, and the other girls and all the other people who's ever attempted pay company in the past, well done. However, it is just a week's worth of fucking exercises. But being a Parachute Regiment soldier is the whole shebang.
Yeah, definitely.
And not many people become Parachute Regiment soldiers because of how tough the training is and mentality.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's not for everyone. But if you can't be a paratrooper, don't give in. Don't just say, oh, well, the army's not for me. Go hopefully do a different regiment. Completely come out the infantry if need be. Learn a trade.
Yeah.
Be in the military. I know there's not a lot going on. Like, obviously, unless you're in the Rangers, fucking Power Rangers. But they're getting all the stuff at the minute just to make them look in a peer group.
Yeah.
But
I was actually quite shocked. I was actually quite shocked the other day. One of my buddies put a message up on the WhatsApp group saying, "Oh, it's good to see the RAF Reg not doing their job again out in Sudan." And then straight away, one of my mates who is serving at the minute, he was like, "No, we were first on the ground for a change." He was literally.
You know what? You know what's going on over there. A lot of people
don't really. I don't really, but I did see something that you shared, and I was like, "Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense."
Well, you got to wonder, why is there 4,000 Brits over there? However, they're not Brits. They're dual national passport holders, because what's just finished? What country is Sudan? It's a Muslim country. A Muslim holiday has just finished. Where did they all go? To see their family?
Of course they did.
What's Sudan trying to join? BRICS. And for joining BRICS, Putin's gone, we'll build a naval shipyard or whatever base in Sudan. And the Americans have gone, hang on a minute, Mr. Putin, you can't fucking do that. You can't do that. And he's like, but you've got a big fuck off base in fucking Djibouti, you twat. Who are you to say I can't do?
Yeah,
I'm getting pig sick of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of dick swinging.
I'm sick because innocent people are getting killed.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the Russians are backing the actual Sudan government, and the Americans are backing this fucking warlord general, and they're killing each other. Innocent people are dying because fucking 2 big cunts with their dicks are going, yeah, Biden, mine's fucking
Cold War tactics all over again, isn't it? Cold War tactics.
The Cold War tactics. Proxy wars.
Yep.
That is it. Can you, hand on your heart, can you honestly see Russia or America? Well, I don't trust Biden, but really drop a nuclear fucking bomb. If one nuclear bomb goes in the sky, they'll all go in the sky and we'll be fucked. And the global elites will be like, well, who the fuck are we going to fucking govern now? Everyone's fucking dead.
Yeah, I've said that. I've said that. Like,
at the end of the day, they shouldn't be after fucking World War II, and them bombs look like fucking.
well, yeah, look what it did.
They look like a grenade to the bombs that could be dropped nowadays.
Yeah,
Like the biggest bomb on record is the fucking Russian Tsar bomb, and that has to be detonated. So that you could destroy that when it's falling from the sky. But yes, they've detonated it in the air. But imagine that
then it's the
on ground.
fallout from it as well.
And it's not like Nagasaki and all that where 50 odd fucking 80s, the life can grow back and this. You drop a one nowadays, that's it. It's fucked.
Yeah, all gone.
There's no point that it's just Cold War tactic. Why can't we all just get along? Why are we?
Everybody love everybody. That's what I say.
Why are we always portraying Russia as the bad guy? Like, I love my country. I just don't like how it's being run.
No, I agree.
So if the shit hit the fan and I have to defend my country, I will be donning fucking my helmet, body armor tomorrow.
Yep, same here.
I will always protect my country from foreign and homegrown terrorism. I made that pleasing.
We did, yeah.
And regardless who's on control, serving or non-serving, I'm still able-bodied. I can still fucking do me duty. But you've got to then fucking realise we are not as innocent as we are portraying ourselves to be.
No, of course not.
You go and look at all the conflicts.
Yeah, I agree.
Do some digging. Because even some of them, because I was serving at the time, and you're like, wow, yeah. Because that's what you like when you literally take a step back when you're not in the army and you think
I know exactly what you mean.
Look at all the stuff that you weren't aware of, it makes you a bit sick in the stomach.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I first joined up, similar to yourself, I was like, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's go kick some ass. These fucking cunts over in fucking.
I'm not saying the two people that I'm going to mention now are saints.
Yep.
But sometimes in life, you've got to do wrong to get good. Right? But you look at when they were in control of their countries to how them countries are now and tell me, did we do the right fucking thing? And that's A, Libya, B, Iraq. Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi. Yes, they've done a bad thing, but were they having terrorist attacks in their country? No, because they would just go, right, terrorist, die. I know we've got the Lockerbie, blah, blah, fucking whatnot, right? But Libya, their people, no debt, fucking free house, fucking education. They would pay for your education if you want to go abroad. When you become of age, you get given a cash handout in a plot of land or something. Free house, free electric. But what did he do? He was trying to not.
He didn't want the dollar.
Exactly. Same as the dollar. In fucking America, I've got. Hang on a minute. You can't do that. Fuck you. We're going to. Excuse me, UK. We're going to create a scenario which is totally false, but we're going to get the people, i.e., the British public and the Senate, to back we're going to start invading countries. Right? When you're in the army, you're like, fuck yeah, I couldn't give a fuck, I'm in the army. But when you're not in the army and years have gone by, you think and look back, I tell you what, it makes you fucking sick. It's like when we're telling the British, oh, you're going to be teaching the Afghan police, the Afghan military, you're going to, this. Some of the guys said, some of the guys I trained had in my section were absolutely fucking spot on because we had that. But like when you look at the rest, like you take the MPs incident. I remember being in Afghan, we had director of special forces come over and they were chatting fucking the usual fucking shite, as officers do. And then they were saying about, what's your opinions on training the police and all that, I stood up. I got a lot of fucking shit for it. But I said, I'm sorry, sir, but I reckon it'll bite when the arse. And everyone was like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, watch. And then no sooner you got the rogue fucking copper shooting all them MP.
Yeah.
Like when we were on the ground with the fucking Afghanis, I was sleeping with one eye open.
Oh, definitely.
It was fucking great when it was Ramadan. We're in the fucking dark and they start sparking the fucking fire up to eat that bit. We're like running over, fucking kicking the cunt out. We were like, are you fucking stupid? Eat the cunt cool.
Yeah.
You give her a position away, you fucking. I couldn't believe that when fucking I was so fucking. I just heard, what the fuck's that? And then next minute, you could just see this little flicker, and then next minute, just. What the fuck are you doing, you fucking cunt? You fucking chorgy cunt. Fucking, I'm like that. Oh, fucking. Just mental, like. Totally fucking mental. But, like, watching them drive with no night vision, unbelievable. It's like they know the fucking lay of the land. It's like they've got
They
fucking.
know it all by the back of their dick, don't they?
It's like they've got night vision eyeballs, man. They're bouncing all over
Feel
the
like
shop.
a fucking cat.
Getting stuck, wheels spinning, and you're like, "Fuck me, where's this come from?" Going in a fucking waddy and all that. You're like that. Fucking what appears to be a 5-hour journey turns into 24.
Yes, it is.
This is like the Benny Hill show all over again. Fucking but it's the memories, man. It's shit
100%.
at the time. It's shit at the time, but it's the memories.
Yeah, I've always said that. Like the amount of people have said, would you do it all again? It's like, well, of course I would. Of course I would do it all again. So what do you miss? I miss the lads, I miss the memories and things like that. But when you're sat there and you're fucking freezing cold, looking out at nothing, and you're like, fucking, this is shit. I want to go home. But then you get moments
cool.
when you're at home and you're like,
This is shit.
Wish I was on tour right now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I can't wait to like get me ration pack and just leave it on the bonnet of the Rover to warm up.
Oh, you're fucking well old school there. We had boiling vessels in our fucking Hummers, mate.
and then getting your fucking bottle of water and putting a sock on and chucking mud on it to keep it cool and all that fucking.
Yeah, look at this. Getting it all out.
Like,
you
honestly,
you absolute sweat.
Like, honestly, when we were driving around in Baghdad, we had a cool box, there was this little American drink called Rip It.
Rip It, yes.
Fucking Rip It. Honestly, it's like about this big, and it's like 500 milligrams of caffeine.
It's ridiculous.
Honestly, we would do majority of our ops in the dark, so I was like one of the main drivers. I'll be necking 2 of them before going on a job, and I was like that.
Fucking eyes like this. Jesus.
Honestly, it was like fucking amazing. I was on the way back, licked the fuck, and we were coming to a crossroads, and I didn't even fucking look. I just fucking bombed it, and me commander went. Did you do realize that was like the crossroad where there was other vehicles, and I was like that. What? And then I literally got out of the fucking back of the Bushmaster because you had to get in through the rear of it.
Yeah.
And I literally just went.
I
just went
crash afterwards.
Crash, and the medic was like, "Come on, I'll put you on a drip." I was like,
"Oh, that was nice of him."
Yeah. Put on a drip, back to normal. I was fucking like that.
Fucking won't be taking 2 of those again.
Oh yeah.
They are fucking lethal.
Getting shelled in Baghdad with a fucking palm tree. That was fucking hilarious. Even the Hereford guys were fucking hiding as well, because if you get caught watching the shell, you're on the shell as well. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
They were like, and then when I fucking finished it, they were coming up with us and went, "Fair play, airball." Fuck that. I was like that. Fucking palm tree. Not a fucking wombat shell. Fucking palm tree. I was like that. Fuck this. I want to go home.
Right, before it cuts us off, we got less than a minute, so I'll resend a new link as soon as it lets me,
And
and
then
we'll take a different trip down a different memory lane.
yes,
I'll ping it over to you as soon as I can.
therefore.
All right, catch you in a sec. Hello, you're at the adverts, so don't turn off. Don't turn off because I've got some good stuff for you. First up, I'm going to talk about our sponsors. Kent CBD is our first sponsor. Now, CBD oil, as you know, has tremendous benefits, especially within mental health and physical health. Personally, I use it to help with my anxiety and my depression, but not only that, I also use it to help with the aches and pains of life in my joints, especially my ankles and my knees. But yeah, without CBD oil, I would have still been on my antidepressant tablets, which I'm no longer on. So, every cloud. And what we're going to do here at Granite Zero is we're going to give you 10% off everything from oil, muscle rub, jellies, bath salts, the lot. Yeah? Make sure you get in there. www.kentcbd.org. Put in the promo code GRANITE0 and get yourself 10% off. You are welcome. But also, if you're like me and you love a nice cup of coffee. Now, for me, I only drink one coffee, and that's Green Beret coffee. Now, I don't only drink it because it's out of this world fucking coffee, roast to order, grinded to whatever specific grind you want. But not only that, it's veteran owned and veteran run, which, hits me right in the feels. So make sure you check it out, Green Beret Coffee. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. I drink it dark, just like my soul. Incredible stuff, incredible stuff. And what I'm going to give for you, I'm going to give you 10% off. So once you get to the checkout, once you've got all your coffee, your products, your apparel, whatever you need, get to the checkout and put in the promo code GZPodcast10 and get yourself 10% off. Courtesy of the Granite Zero podcast. You are welcome. Now, that's enough of me talking about this stuff. Back to the regular scheduled show. Check it out! And we're back after that brief advert.
I've remembered that film, Terrifier 2. Watch it.
Terrifier 2. I probably won't watch it, Nick, if I'm honest.
It's gruesome as fuck. I'll just...
Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, we're obviously going to take a bit of a trip now. If we go from where we sort of left off on the previous part 1, where you've come home from your lovely little trip to India, which was lovely for 5 years.
So I was only supposed to go away for 2 months, and my final destination was supposed to be Sri Lanka, but 4 years in India, it's close enough, I suppose.
Sick of curry now, if anything. But obviously, you're now reunited with the family, but obviously, it's got to be a difficult adjustment period from being incarcerated to now being free. As nice as it sounds, like, oh, you're free, but still, for the last 5 years, all you've known is
a different way of life. Yeah, basically. As you can imagine, I'm still kind of in awe as to what has just happened over these past few years, and it wasn't hard to see where I was because I was walking around like I was foreign. I felt foreign. I felt out of place, but it was a lot quieter. India is just noise central. It's noisy. It's a noisy country. And obviously the weather. I came back beginning of December. It was fucking freezing.
beautiful.
It was
beautiful northeast weather, I bet.
I was freezing when it was 24 degrees in where I was. I was freezing. 24 degrees, I was freezing. Average was 30. Oof. High is 50. It was fucking hideous. I literally walked out of me hostel room one day, stood at the bottom of the lift for 5 minutes, and then walked back up the stairs, and I was piss wet. I had a great t-shirt, and you could just see all the sweat.
Different shade of grey.
Yeah, and when I was in prison, there was many times they would switch the power off, and honestly, it was that hot outside. You had to sit inside, and it was just stifling in there. It was like sickening.
Oh,
You were trying to conserve water because there was no water coming out because they switched the power off. And obviously, yeah, the fans didn't do much, but you sharp knew what little they did when you switched the fuckers off.
Mm.
It was like hideous. And then
bet.
you've got the Indian Air Force attacking you. The fucking flies, they were relentless.
Yeah. Flies and mosquitoes, I bet.
It was just like you just would lie on your bed where your thin little mattress that we had, and try and cover yourself with a sheet, and then you just try and sleep the time away till the power came back on. It was just, but there was times where if it went after 6 o'clock, we would just kick off and refuse to be locked up till there was fucking sufficient, till we replaced one water. Because that's, the hole in the floor.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it's just how it is. You've got to take into consideration. They were always saying outside problem, but it wasn't.
No, they were doing it.
They were doing it for the whole prison, and it was basically to destroy your morale.
Yeah, of course it was.
How do you keep your prisoners in check? Do something, take something away for a short space time.
Yeah, they're showing you who's boss.
So when you give the power back, they'll appreciate how much they require it, and hopefully they won't kick off. And you learn this. You can't beat the system. You might as well join it. Just go with the flow. It's horrible, but you sharp learner. I used to kick off. I would be like stood there, and I'll be like, and you can't not help yourself get angry. But then when you realise when you're kicking off, they just do what an ostrich does. Just put their head in the sand. Just fuck you clean off. They literally just, and you'll be like, fuck, and then the jailer will be just like, and then they'll talk in their tongue, and then you'll be just, you'll just get pissed off and walk away.
Yeah.
And then you'll give it an hour or so, then you'll approach it differently. And then they'll be like, oh, so you're not shouting at us now?
Yeah.
Basically. And then you would think, well, I personally did anyways. Would I like that?
Yeah. I can see where you come from with that. Yeah.
But when you're in that situation, you don't see that.
Oh no, of course not, because you're frustrated. You're frustrated anyway. You're in the shit. You shouldn't be in the shit, but you're in the shit.
So you've got a right to kick off.
Yeah. You can see both sides. It's like,
it's shit as it is, but
yeah,
that's the fucking reality.
Definitely.
Like, as much as I battled against the system, I knew I could never win it. And like, I know obviously if you're going to do something, you'll put a lot of thought process into it. But if you're going to try and escape that prison, when the best time to do it is not from in the prison. Just say you need to go to the dentist. Because we weren't even handcuffed. And honestly, just fucking batter them. Only the officer's got a weapon on him. Batter him and do a runner. Mind you, wouldn't last 2 minutes because they'll just say, "Have you seen a small, white, muscular man?"
Yeah. You don't really blend in very well.
He went that way, and then next minute it'd be pointless.
Yeah.
If you were somewhat, because of the part of India where we were, it's not really foreign central. Like if you were in
Yeah,
Mumbai.
Yeah, you're not really in a tourist destination where you could probably blend in. You're in the Bondu, in the shit.
And don't get me wrong, like to the Korean, where we had the trial where it all began, and then you take Chennai. Fuck me, Chennai was like Las Vegas. That was on the scale, and to the Korean was like you picture the most rundown, poorest little village.
Yeah.
Chennai looked like Las Vegas to it, and Chennai was a shithole.
Yeah.
Right. Fuck me, man. I went and spent with my ex-partner Christmas in Chennai, and then we went to visit our friends in Bangalore. In Bangalore, the climate's a lot cooler, even though it's the next state up in more central. Obviously, the climate's a bit more easier for us. However, it does when it wants to get hot, it'll be ridiculous. But it's more manageable than Chennai. Chennai's just like a fucking sweatbox like that. Take
yeah.
For those who've been to the jungle and all that, that's probably what I feel. Subtropical, just horrible, nasty weather, horrible and humid. But like, we spent New Year in Bangalore, and it was fairly decent. But yeah, you don't realise you're about to get into prison for 5 years in the January. But like I say, I didn't think like that. But taking India as a whole, it's all state run. None of them are like each other. And Tamil Nadu is the most hated out of the lot. It's Bandit County. And that's people from Tamil Nadu telling us.
Yeah.
They said to us, if this happened in a different state, it wouldn't have happened.
No,
the initial bit would have happened, but it would have been over before it began.
Yeah.
I think our Tamil Nadu, they were just trying to gain brownie points, I think, with central government, to be honest. And the thing about India, as in their government, legal system, etc., we were always saying, "Oh, they'll try and save face," and I used to believe that. But then as you start thinking about things, you just think they're not bothered. They couldn't care about saving face. If you put 5 as the answer to 2 plus 2 and go, that's wrong, Tamil Nadu would just go, so?
Yeah, what's your point?
What's your point? Yeah, but we know the answer's 4. Yeah, I've put 5. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
What are you? I don't care. That is their attitude, as I came to witness. Couldn't care. Absolutely zero fucks given.
It must have broken you being out there like that.
How do you fight that?
Yeah, it must have been like, what's the point?
So you try not to fight it, but you can't not.
Yeah.
Because it's designed to get inside your head. So when you come home and everything's bustling and you're trying to fit in, you're starting to readjust. I now look back and think, when you're at time of fighting and survival mode, the demons will never come for you because they can't. You're too powerful. They wait till time of peace.
Yeah.
When you realise, without realising how vulnerable you really are.
Yeah.
It took 3 years, 2.5, 3 years for it to hit me.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I look back now and I know when I'm deteriorating. I know me signals, me signs, because they repeated themselves. So if I get to a certain point, I know, shit, I'm in trouble here. A lot of people will never understand that. Even those others who go through trauma won't realise, because we're always told, don't be snappy with others, that they can see what you can't. Just like, when things happen with relationships, you're blinded by love, same thing.
Yeah.
You can't see yourself destroying itself within. This is why you hear so many ex-military turning to drink, turning to drugs, end up on the street fucking killing themselves. Because something is triggered their head and it's spiraling.
Yeah, I would get worse if I.
Their stubbornness.
Yeah.
Their stubbornness kills them.
Yeah. 100%.
And I know this because I was like that. My stubbornness and my pride.
Because you get to the point where you're supposed to be the big strong man. You're an ex-paratrooper, or for me, ex-regiment guy, and you don't want to ask for help because that's a sign of weakness in your head. It's not.
The amount of
We know
stuff,
that. We know that it's not. But we're like, well, I can't ask anyone for help. I've got to deal with this myself.
The amount of stuff that's available for us veterans is second to none. It could be a lot better, definitely.
I agree it could be better, but yeah.
A lot of the time, they think it's coming out their own back pocket, but that funding is for us, given by us. So imagine if that was government-backed and run by ex-military. No veteran would suffer, not as much anyways.
No,
and they would get that
totally agree.
in the system, because there's so much that we are not aware of. But unless you start asking the correct questions, you're not going to know. Because when you sign off and when you walk out them fucking gates, unless you're an officer, you're on your own, Jack.
Yep.
No one's saying, right, if you come this way, Mr. Dunn, right, this is what you're entitled to. This is the grants. This is X, Y, and fucking Z. I tell you what, if that happened, no veteran would be on the fucking streets. Little veterans would turn to drink and drugs, and very, very little would end up seeing no way out and pulling the self-destruct button, pushing the self-destruct.
Yeah.
I fucking 100% can guarantee that.
It even goes down to certain numbers to ring and things like that. I know, obviously, a lot of people go to the big ones.
Walking with a wounded, when I started deteriorating, it was my sister telling me.
Yeah.
My dad.
So was those closest to you that noticed it?
They noticed it, and I was getting into shooting matches with them. I was becoming snappy, grouchy. And this is the little person that I will never, ever be able to repay back. My sister's got my fucking heart like that for what she did. And I was chucking it all in her fucking face. Because I was deteriorating. The demons have got me where they wanted me. They've seen me vulnerable and they've gone, we're going to have to up our game with this guy, because there's his Parachute Regiment mentality. He's up here now because of the amount of shit he had to deal with in India. We need to go there. And they fucking bump. But my experience is little things happen. I'm like, hang on. There'll be times where I'll be going into different rooms, like you've lost your keys or something, but I haven't. And next minute, I'll just stop, freeze, blank. And then I was going around Asda with my lass shopping, and I just stopped, and she just looked at us, and I was motionless, and I just cracked on. And after we'd been shopping, she said to us, "What happened there?" I went, "That's one of me. That's what happens. That's when I know things is deteriorating." And I start to see me death different ways, to a point where I'm like that. I was on my way on a long straight road between my town and my lasses, and literally a car drove past us, and then I done that, a sharp shooting cold shiver down my spine, and next minute I was seeing me have a car accident. That's when I know you need help, because I'm starting to see me death. Like I walked over a bridge, and then I stopped and I grabbed the railings, and I could see myself falling from this fucking bridge over and over again. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Why am I having these premonitions?
Yeah, little chinks in the armor. They're chipping away.
And me pride, not just being a man, being a paratrooper, pride in general. I'm like, I'm gonna have to put some at this one side here. And I felt a bit scared at first, but I use social media with me different platforms in different ways. Not one is the same. People might think I'm a fucking schizophrenic. I've got different, but I just try and be just me. I don't try and impress people. I don't try and be someone I'm not. I'm just me. If you like us, you like us. You don't, you don't. A bit like fucking Marmite, isn't it? The world would be a shit place if everyone liked each other.
Yeah, exactly.
The word cunt wouldn't exist.
Great word.
It's a tremendous word. I don't know why women don't like the word. They're all one.
Yeah.
But we love yous in general. Sorry, ladies, if you feel offended by that. Well, another cunt who gives a fuck.
Exactly.
But no, back to the point. Like, I made the call to go and turn to social media, but I was scared in case people were thinking, "Oh, here he goes, he's jumping on the bandwagon of mental health." And I'm thinking, if I was gonna, I didn't think it at the time, but I look back and I think now, and I'm like, if I wanted to jump on the mental health bandwagon, do you not think I would have done that as soon as I came home? Because when I was in that fighting survival mode, and I can say this now, right, in case someone listens to it and starts jumping in the comment section and starts slagging us off and saying, I'm thinking, I can say this now because this is how you learn from previous experiences.
Yep.
But when I came back, I could only say mental health this, mental health that. And I used to fucking think, what the fuck's these pissy weak fucking people doing? Whinging on. But that's because I was thinking differently.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
I look back now and think, and to me, that version of Nick, a previous self of me, and think, you arrogant little dick. But I wasn't being known because I'd never experienced mental health.
Yeah.
I was aware. When I was in India, a lot of people, I don't know if they just did it out of interest to save me so I wouldn't feel more homesick. But I didn't, when I wasn't in prison, or even when I was in prison, people weren't showing us so much of the outside world because it's something I would miss, and that's not, and that's not what they wanted me to do. Lose my morale, my fighting spirit. You start. This is why if you go into these situations, when your mind is still healthy, don't start and sulk and think of your fucking family. You've got to start and hit the ball running. I know it's easier said than done, but as soon as you go into that fucking mindset, you are fucked. And I witnessed it. And don't get me wrong, I cried myself to sleep. I miss my family terribly. And probably if I focused more on myself instead of others, trying to keep the camp happy, because negativity spreads like fucking wildfire. And there's 23 years in a prison, the last thing you want is 23 miserable bastard people, even though we're all miserable anyways, to make it even worse. You can't have that, because, like I said in the last time, your days will feel like weeks and so on and so on. But I'm back home, and I turned to social media, and the response was fucking tremendous. It's not something I expected, but I thank every single person who reached out to me. I know I couldn't respond to every message, but I did read, and it was unbelievable. And people literally went out of their way to indirectly get my communication details to just bring me, because they knew if they start inboxing us, other people and their message. So so the walking with the wounded, people from that organization went out of their way to get my number and get on the blower and come and see me.
That's amazing.
You're trying to tell me the help isn't there, whether you're military or not.
It is there.
Don't fucking lie. When people turn on and say, there's no help, that pisses me off immensely now. It does. I couldn't give a fuck earlier. But nowadays, when I think back and what I've been through, and I guarantee you a lot more people out there in the world has been through a hell of a lot more than me, and I fucking put my hand up to them, right? I sometimes feel like I've been through that, but I do realise the actual trauma I've been through. It was just mental, constant. Dun, 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 dun. The brain can tell this to numb when it's hurting. What tells the brain?
Nothing, mate.
When the brain is hurting, what tells the brain? Nothing. Outside help. But it's trying to get your brain to listen to these people.
Yeah. It's trying to, like, give it a little jog, you could say, and just getting that one person, two people, just to go, are you all right?
Do you know how hard it is breaking down and crying in front of our men?
Yes, I do.
When they know they're looking at a paratrooper who's worked with special forces, and I wasn't the best soldier in the world, right? However, I still achieved what I did, right? Yes, there's silly little rumours where, I got a overseas pass on fucking paid company. Fuck off. I smashed paid company because I wanted that cap badge on me top left. I fucking more than life itself. I earned that. And it's just people who try to just chat shit. You get them in all walks of life. You can't please everyone. And you know what? I never lose sleep over it, right? But to sit there and feel so degraded, helpless, and you're crying in front of other men who one person was ex-military, and because obviously the mix, ex-veterans and civ pop, and you're doing that, and they are comforting you in the best way possible, because you have just fell off the fucking planet, and you've got no one to turn to. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is.
To make them decisions. You can take a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink.
No, mate. Definitely.
The amount of people that ring people to say, and they're like, sorry, we can't help. They've got to ring. They've got to come forward. But thanks for letting me know. Obviously, in the civilian world, it's not as helpful as the military. How many times do you see the beacon alerts from various groups?
Yeah, amazing.
There's a guy, because we know it. Civ pop go, you stop being snappy, fucking, you're rebelling. Military people know from one aspect to the next. They know. It's built into it. Yeah. They know when they've gone like that. They just know. They go, it's like, this person's not right. They sounded off. I've been talking, I've known this person 20 years and something's off. Because your demons don't, like I said to you, your demons come for you when you are at time of peace. When you are,
It's
that's when you're vulnerable without even realizing.
yeah.
You could be at the dinner table with your family and just boomf. Just you're in bliss. You're seeing your children, your wife. You give her that little cheeky look because she knows what's coming the night when the kids are abed. And then next minute, bang.
Yeah.
The plate's fucking flying across the table. The kids are like that. She's gone, shit, it's started. And all the pain and the fucking misery comes flooding. And someone's just getting a bloody filing cabinet and just gone, boom. And you're like, fuck. And you just turn to shit. And I'm talking from experience.
Yeah.
I'm not imagining this is how I am talking from my experience. And if what I experienced can help someone else, even if just one person, I will be the happiest man alive.
Yeah.
You don't have to
fully,
be what
yeah.
I've been through to deal with, say, mental health. It's knowing your signs and biting the bullet and accepting the help and listening. It's going to be hard because the amount of times people message me in reference to that and they're like, I can't pick up the phone, Nick. I said, well, I fucking can't. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. And they're like, I don't know what to say. I said, say anything, waffle utter shit. They will start and pick things up. And while you're waffling utter shit on the phone, they're writing things down. And then they'll go back to something you've said, and then they'll get you to focus. Why? Because that's what I did when I took talk and therapy. There's different avenues for people to go down. Don't give up when you think one isn't working. Try another.
Yeah.
If
spot on.
If not everyone's the same shoe size.
Yeah, fantastic advice that.
We'll always put a pair of trainers on.
Everyone's different.
Just because I'm a size 7 doesn't mean that size 7 and that them Puma trainers fits well. I might like the Adidas ones, they might be more comfortable, so I'm going to go with that company.
Yeah.
For dealing with, and that's why I go with Walking with a Wounded, because they've been absolutely fantastic for me. And that's why 2 years ago, I raised money and I ran with the Great North Run with zero fucking training. And I had the Walk with a Wounded t-shirt. Is my way of saying thank you for their help. I could literally pick up the phone now and speak to someone from Walking with a Wounded because that's how they have helped me.
It's awesome. It genuinely is. The guys that I raise money for is Rock to Recovery. They're another fantastic fantastic cause that do loads.
You know, the way I express myself, some people, if they don't really know us, might think, "Oh, you're coming across a bit aggressive." I don't mean
that's no.
I'm passionate.
I was going to say that is the passion of what you're talking about. I'm very similar to you, where I didn't know. I knew the signs that were coming. My temper would quickly change. I would become very snappy, aggressive. I would shout at the girls for fucking dropping a fork on the floor. All that sort of stuff.
Take wrong turnings when you're driving.
Yeah, and one thing that you sort of mentioned that I'm going to just quickly come on to about crying in front of a group of men. Now, I went and I couldn't quite fix myself in the way that I wanted. So I discovered a company that really fucks me off, that it didn't get the funding that it deserved. And it was a company called Inner Armor. And they gave you these different tools to help with your mental health. and it was a positive psychology sort of course. And I went on it, and I was on it with a group of men. There was another regiment guy. There was a couple of bootnecks, and so on and so forth, and a few police officers. And basically, one of the tasks they get you to do, they give you a load of Lego. It sounds crazy when and everyone's like, fucking Lego.
You know
But
what?
basically, you
Gotta go
build,
back to basics.
yeah, you build moments in time that sort of, and you build your journey, and you do it, like, for example, you could pick up like a duck or something, and you go, well, this isn't a duck, this means anyway.
Yes.
And I was describing my journey from my lowest point, where I was curled up on the floor in my kitchen, bawling my eyes out. My daughter coming in to basically tell me that everything's okay. We all love you. We just want you to be happy and better.
You know them words. Sorry to interrupt. You know them words. They're the most amazing words. But when someone's telling you them words in that situation, you don't believe it.
No, you don't.
You think the world is against you.
Yeah.
And everyone hates you.
For the longest period, I thought I was a piece of shit. I thought I was awful. I thought I was the worst dad, the worst husband. I was useless.
I've had messages like that.
Yeah.
And I had to respond by thinking, this is a man who's older than me, who's married, with kids. He's going through a rough time. He doesn't know who to turn to. He feels himself as a letdown, a failure.
Yeah.
He's watched my podcasts, listened to what I've been saying.
Excuse me.
And he's reached out to me. Out of everyone in the world, he's reached out to me. And I've actually got to sit down and think. So I gave a quick reply. Thank you for your amazing message. It's great to reach out. Don't feel alone. Words to that effect. I will get back to you. I need to have a think of this. This isn't just, this doesn't deserve a quick answer. And I gave my response a couple hours later. I know people might think, oh, well, you got to just, well, no, you can't just stop your life for someone.
No, he would have definitely thought, well, he's already replied to me, which is a good start. He said he's going to get back to me. He's probably just waiting.
Yeah, and I've said, look, if you do feel it and you're going to deteriorate even more, please get my attention. So I've told them I'm going to help you as best I can, but give us time. Because who the person is and how he's wrote his message, I've gone, hang on a minute. Fucking hell. I feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Someone has took what I've said through my experiences and related and gone, you know what? I like what his advice is. I like what he's been through, how he's overcome it, to then realize there will be another chapter.
Yeah.
But what Nick says is, don't treat it as a fucking constant battle, because you will go round and round and round and round. You've got to break free. You've got to put it to the side. Easier said than done, but that's when help comes into play. Take the help, try the help, give that number a bloody ring. If your friends are stood there in front of you, ring that number for them, put them on speaker and say, right, if you don't answer this, I'm going to punch you. And we'll see what their response is.
Yeah.
They'll go, well, come on, punch us. Punch them. Punch them. They'll sharp wake up and see reality.
And they'll thank you later. And
they will thank you later. Because people pussyfoot around and pissy pants fucking, the amount of messages that I've received, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. I thank their messages, but their messages don't do jack shit. because some people just don't know what to say. So they just go for the easy option. My inboxes are, thanks for that. But unfortunately, I need to get a grip of my life myself. I'm going to take people's advice. And some of the home truths that might fucking be told by other people, including your family, might be the reality stick you need.
Yeah, you need that bolt of lightning to hit you to say you need to fucking sort yourself out.
Exactly.
Because you will
when
lose.
You're at the bottom, when
you'll
you're
lose everything.
You can't get any lower.
No.
The only way is up. And I stress that. And my advice is fucking free. And there's fucking smokers out there in the world who fucking charge people for advice. You know what I say to them? You chat shit, mate. And you've gone through fuck all trauma in your life and you're making money out of fucking helpless people.
Yeah.
My advice is free. You take it or you leave it. There you go. But at the end of the day, if it fucking helps, fingers later.
Yeah.
Buys a pint if you ever see it.
Definitely.
Or do a handshake or a simple thank you. Because if I've helped someone else, you know what? I feel like I've achieved something. And you know when that happens, it makes me feel better about myself. So my morale goes like that. Because then I've helped someone morale go like that. And I just try and say it. I'm not some mental health guru and I've been through a shit time. And it's took me till I tried to kill my fucking self to realize the trauma I've actually been through. And people say, oh, well, just pick up a phone. It's not as fucking easy as that.
No.
Because I was on the phone to me mate.
Fucking Zoom. Killing the vibes, mate. Fucking Zoom.
Yeah, as I was saying, like it's easy for people to say, just pick up a phone. But I was talking to my friend, and I like anyone who's experienced suicidal thoughts. You plan your demise. Like I remember, like coming back from India and go in a nice hot bath, and I just mellow out and listen to like soothing music on YouTube. And there was a time where I'm listening to that and I can't hear it because I'm just planning my demise, and I'm lying in the bath and I'm crying. And that's when I think, you know, I'm at rock bottom here. I've had enough. I've done me talking therapy. So I'm a hypocrite, you know, and I'll admit that. I think we can all be a hypocrite in one way, shape, or another. However, I would rather, and I always state this is what I did. Please don't do the same.
Yeah.
This is where I think you've got to learn your own signs of your deterioration, because the reality check that hits, and I didn't do it as a cry of help. I know people, like when they slit their wrists, they know which way to do it properly.
Yep.
And sometimes it is that scenario of the boy who cried wolf. Like I keep saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. And I think a lot of people out there expect that to happen. And unfortunately, it doesn't. If you're in the shit, you've got to bite the bullet and make that call and ask for help. People can't, unfortunately, do it for you. They can only tell you and show you the way, but you've got to walk the walk. And a lot of people out there in the world don't want to walk the walk. They want everything put on a fucking plate for them. That's not how the world works, even when mental health is concerned. And after I finished the phone call, I went into robot mode. It's like I wasn't in control of myself. And I had these tablets from my mum's, which were painkillers due to, me just being in pain with my shoulder, back pain from all them years lying on nearly a slate floor, does eventually, leave its mark. And I only took them for a little bit with tramadol, and I just left them, forgot about them. But on this particular day, I wasn't going to go to the beach with a bottle of Jack Daniels and send a WhatsApp video message to people and then put me location and say, right, you know where I am, come and find us.
Yeah, come and save me.
But goodbye.
Yeah.
That's my plan. But I didn't have a car because I wrote it off before Christmas. So I didn't have a car at the time. So driving to the beach was out the fucking window. I didn't have a bottle of Jack Daniels, so that went out the window. So I had loads of these strong tablets and water. And I went into robot mode, water, and I started taking a couple on the edge of my bed, and I drank some water, and I sat there, and I didn't have a conscience. I just sat there and just went 60 tablets down the range. But you think, 60 tablets. These were like 300 milligram of these. I can't even pronounce. They were when I was in hospital, because like my sister knew something was up and she was kind of a bit worried, because I think when I go quiet and my family, like my dad and my sister, don't hear from us like a day, they kind of worry. But my sister kind of let the cat out of the bag, and she says, just to let you know, your brother's looking over you, looking out for you without you noticing. So, and I was like, well, that's fucking great, because he's at work. And my sister was at work, and she knew something was up. She rung me dad, and I was lying on my bed in my dressing gown, in and out of consciousness. I was totally moaned. My dad, I've never seen him flap like a fucking budgie on that 999. Didn't even know my date of birth, didn't even know my full name. He was flapping like a fucking budgie. Come on, I was like, I was thinking, fuck this. And his voice was getting quieter and quieter, and I thought, that's it, I'm away. I'm sorry, because you don't realise the carnage you leave. And I was that low. I wanted to be pain free. I said, I've done my fight. I can't fight no more. I'm throwing the towel in. I always made a promise I would do it this way, like take abundance of tablets. I would never mess my body up, like jump off a bridge or in front of a train. I always made that promise to myself, just for me, because at the end of the day, death of a family member is horrible. A parent should never have to bury their child, and to have their child in pieces must be even worse, because they can't even say their farewell.
Yeah, I can see your logic behind that. Yeah, as dark as that is,
we're like doing IKEA, and I don't think my family wanted to do an IKEA fucking Lego piece, putting me back together to just, so that's why I know it sounds sick and twisted and a bit of dark humor to it, but that's the reality. I made a promise to myself and my family that if I was going to take my life, I would do it by fucking my whole body up by taking a lot of pills. Like when I came back home, I had loads of Jack Daniel bottles, because people would just go to me, Dad, we're hearing your Nick's coming home. What does he like to drink? And my dad went, Jack Daniels. And he would drip feed us. But the good thing is, I've never came home and turned to drink. Yeah, I've had a few wild nights out. That's fucking bye. But I've never literally, and I think that's what my dad.
You weren't using the drink to soothe yourself.
Yeah, my dad was. That's why he was drip feeding. It was when you used to get your empty bottles of pop and take it to back the shop and you get your 20 pence back.
Yeah,
that's what my dad was doing. He's like, I want to see the empty bottle.
Yeah.
and I want them, and he had them all wrote down, so he knew what fucking bottles he was getting back. So I wasn't pulling a fly one. Oh,
Yeah.
mate, you got a Jack Daniels, and so I would build them up. I never did that because I had the gym as my incentive. That's my church, but everything just went out the window. And my dad, I could hear my dad screaming on the phone saying, 45 minutes. I could get him fucking there in 20. And I could hear the woman on loudspeaker saying, I don't believe you. And he went, fucking watch us. Put the phone down. And he was like, how are Nicky? Because my dad calls us Nicky. And I live in upstairs flat. So a 70-year-old bloke trying to carry me without dropping his lifeless body. It's fucking
heavy.
difficult.
Yeah, dead weight.
And he's flapping like a fucking budgie. And he literally was dragging his lifeless into the. He literally got me legs into the passenger side. Literally shut the door. The fucking ambulance came screeching around the corner, and then they got us out of the car, doing what little checks they did, and went right because of what tablets you've taken. We're putting you on the blues.
Yeah.
And we were on the blues, bombing down the road to the hospital. I went to the hospital and I was just feeling fucking shit. I was like, the guilt trip came. I'm wasting these bastards' fucking time. They shouldn't be dealing with someone like me. There's people that, and I'm quick to criticise the NHS, but I tell you what, if we didn't have the NHS in this country, we would be fucked, man. As shit as some things are in the NHS, and we always slag them off, but in the other hand, we're so grateful for them. Yeah. However, I still think they should fucking do their job properly and stop asking for a pay rise and get rid of their diversity managers. Therefore, they'll get a pay rise, but they're not doing it the way I would like them to do it. But at the end of the day, I'm very thankful because it was an Indian surgeon who saved my mum's life. My sister made that known to me. And you know what my response was? He could have been from fucking Mars for all I give a fuck. He was doing his job. But my sister was she didn't know how my reaction would be.
Yeah, I got you. Trying to paint that not all Indians are the bad guys. I can see where she's coming from with that.
So, I'm in the hospital, and I was there. I didn't get out of hospital till 11:45 that night, and I was in before 12 in the morning because they were doing blood tests because of the nature of the tablets. Yeah. They were making sure there wasn't any internal organ damage. And having ECGs and all, I was just like fucking bag of shit. For 2-3 days, I was groggy as fuck. The reality hit us where I felt shit, but thankful I'm still alive. I was thinking maybe it's not my time. Maybe this is a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call. Yes, I felt shitty. I felt down in the dumps just before Christmas gone, where I was not wanting to get out of bed, but I never felt suicidal as such. I just wanted to waste and sleep the days away till I felt better, but it doesn't happen. You've got to literally build yourself back up. The only way is up. You can't get, once you have snake belly lower than whale shit level, you can't get lower. You'll always get up more times than you fall down. But you've got to take the help. You can't do it alone. You've got to put your pride and your stubbornness to one side. And that was fucking hard for me. Because when people are offering you help, you're like, you don't want to take it because your pride.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that, definitely.
Weak, but you've got to take the help. It's there for us in times of need. This is a time of need. Take the fucking help. Yeah. And I took the help. And I went back to walking with the wounded. And I thank Walking with the Wounded with all my heart. Because without them helping me in what ways they done, and they still check up on me from time to time. So I'm not a number to them. I'm someone to them.
Yeah.
And I hope they're doing
awesome.
the same for every other person in need. And so I do hope for other charities, whether it be military or non-military, I hope they do the same.
Yeah.
Because we now live in a world where, yes, okay, a lot of people do take the fucking piss, and it is hard, and it is trying to weed out the weeds from the flowers when the kind of all look alike. You know, we've all got that mother who loves her garden, and you'll be helping her rip out some weeds, and she'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not okay. When it looks like a fucking weed to me, man. No, that's a flower, and she'll waffle its name, and you're like, "Aye, okay, mate, cheers."
Yeah.
And that's the same, how I see it anyways. Other people might think, Nick, you're chatting utter fucking shit. If we all thought the fucking same, it'd be shit. That's my analogy of it. That's
Totally agree.
Through the experience and taking a step back, looking back and thinking, this is what happens. That sign goes to that sign. That goes to that. If I get to that, suicidal thoughts are coming next, because on two previous occasions, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Then you go, right, it's time to fucking take action. They would rather you constantly be on the phone to them than
they would
not be on the phone to them.
No, exactly. They would definitely rather you be on the phone constantly having chats with them to make sure that you're all right, rather than getting the phone call to say he's gone. Definitely.
And I guarantee you, majority of them phone calls, you're laughing at the end and you don't even know what the fuck you were talking about. And your mindset is just totally eradicated of what them horrible, dark thoughts.
Sometimes you just need to purge it out.
You've got, like, as a young kid, I used to punch the walls and I used to bottle my anger up. Walls, doors don't punch back. So you got to use to take that and channel it into something better. I've got a Pandora's box, like many veterans. I've had to battle that when I was in India, and it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because we've all got that animal instinct, that lose control mode. And once that goes, that's it. You are in self-destruct mode. It's like someone who's having an epileptic fit. What you got to do is you got to move everything out the way and let them fucking crack on and have a fucking seizure. Because if you start trying to wrestle them, they become the Incredible Hulk, and you could hurt them, and they could definitely hurt you. Because my brother's epileptic, so he's had 2 seizures in his time, but that's what it's like. I say, you open Pandora's box for a lot of veterans. That's it. Just let them fucking go. They are the hand grenade. And when they come to, if it ends in that, if not, hopefully it doesn't go pear-shaped. But don't hit them straight away with the negativity. Tell them and talk to them about it and get them to realize, when you just fucking went off the fucking map. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
And hammer them. But don't be a dick to them, because that's when they'll go, and I've done it with my sister.
Yeah, that's when you then go back into your shell and put your walls up and go, yeah, if you're going to talk to me like that, I ain't going to talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from.
You've got to learn the way of talking. And my sister and me are so alike personalities. We kind of clash. We're so alike. It's fucking hard. There's some stuff my sister has never told me, because there's stuff she can't tell us. and the stuff I haven't told them. And I probably would never, I never will, because we don't need to go down that route, because it's not going to put her forward. It's going to bring her back. It's going to be pain. It's going to be misery. And sometimes you've got to take a couple of steps back to go forward. You know, as I say, the best form of attack's defense. You know, with this, no. I can't imagine, like, once me mum was in that after going to hairdressers before Christmas and having a double aneurysm. And the surgeon saying to me brother and my sister, while I'm in a prison, unaware of this happening, because I'm thinking, I'm in prison, I've got to keep my mind so my family don't suffer. Because if they realise I'm suffering, they'll suffer more. So every time the embassy came, I always put a brave face on when I was feeling shit.
Yeah.
But then I would simply say to them, I'm look, tell them if you've got to lie, but tell them from me, I'm doing okay. But I am missing them and I'm in pain. But tell them I'm doing okay, because I cannot worry them. So reverse that. I'm in a prison, and I'm like thinking I'm going to get a visit of my sister, and you got the letter off your embassy via your sister telling us about my mum, and it breaks you. It sends you to another level. And I can't imagine how my sister was given that question. If we don't operate, she dies. If we operate, she may die. You're going to go for the operation.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two words. There's two words there. Will die or may die. You got to take the may. Got to take the may. There's that chance.
Definitely. And I can't imagine that fucking decision. And my sister was saying to me dad, I can't tell him.
No.
I can't tell him. And my dad was like, you're going to have to tell him. So my mum's fighting for her life, and my sister's thinking of me. Our own mum is fucking dying, yet my sister's thinking of me. How the fuck I'm meant to take this in?
Yeah.
Yeah? If that's not fucking passion for your fucking family, I don't know what is.
No, that definitely comes from a different cloth, mate. That's
how like she knows once I read this letter, I am gonna go off. But my sister knows there's that chance he can compress it, channel it.
Yeah.
And I have to let him know. And my dad's like, you're gonna have to tell him you can't keep this. What if he gets out?
Yeah.
How are you
yeah,
going to
exactly.
explain?
What if he gets out and comes home? And...
How are you going to explain why he can't pick up the phone, why his man can't pick a phone up and speak to him? How do you think he's going to think? You've got to tell him. And I tell you what, that took me to another fucking level reading that letter. To this day, I don't know what that letter said, but the whole case, they're then telling me, Mum, I'm going to prison, to hear her screaming down the phone like a wounded animal. It's all building, adding stuff to that Pandora's box, and I've got to keep it locked away because I've got to keep my head in the game. Yeah. And then when fast forward, and I'm back home, and it just goes like a freight train and hits you. That's mental health.
Yep.
Not when these fucking idiots go, They piss me off, them cunts. Because when there's people who are silent, struggling, and they fucking think the system's failing, the system is not failing. There's just not enough people to help everyone.
Yeah.
And the reason why they believe the system's failing is because the system's dealing with fucking cunts like that. Fucking those who cried fucking wolf because they're a bit attention seeking. And I will get backlash off that. And you know when I say to the people, till you've experienced it properly, proper trauma, and I know trauma is different in every way, shape, or form. I'm on about proper trauma, right? And it all comes in different levels, right? There's people who've experienced a lot more trauma than me.
Yeah.
And dealt with it 10 times better than what I've dealt with mine. I understand that. But there's people in the world ripping the eyes out of those. It's basically taking another man's ration or woman's ration away from them. Because a lot of people are sat at home, silent.
Yeah.
How many times have you read on social media with these groups, just to let you know, such and such has taken their life?
Too many. Too many.
Too many.
Too many.
Because they couldn't get the help because people were dealing with fucking dickheads. Taking the piss. I'm grateful. I was not expecting, because I wasn't expecting anything. But the support I received was fucking tremendous. And I will always, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you to every person who supported me from start to finish and continues to support me. Their help got me through hell. Do I continue to live in hell? No. Do I continue to live my life like I'm in a battle? No. But I take each day as it comes and I appreciate life. I know what freedom really means. I value it.
Yeah.
Freedom is something that we should all appreciate, but we abuse it. You don't realize what freedom really is till you're innocently having it removed and stripped of you. When your life is in the hands of others and you feel worthless, you can't do nothing but try and keep that, because that's the only thing you can control. You can't control the way your life is heading. You can only control that as best as you can. And that's the only advice I can ever give, is to not let that go. No matter how much shit you endure, you've got to keep getting up, dust yourself down and keep going towards that light, because that's how I envisioned everything and how I focused. I saw that goalpost, that light at the end of the tunnel, and I always went in that direction. And there was days where it would be blinding, and then in a blink of an eye, it was dull and in the distance, and it deflates the fuck out of you. But you know what?
Gotta
Crack on. You got to crack on.
Yeah.
And a lot of this fucking stigma and fucking this about, don't completely remove it and rule it out, because military people need that in their life. Civilians, they're a different breed, right? They can't just crack on. They're not built like that. Military people are. When the shit hits the fan, we crack on to the best of our ability. We laugh in the face of adversity. We go to hell and fucking have a pint with the devil. But we don't stay there. We go back to heaven and live a good life, the best as we can. And life is going to be like that, more so for veterans, because it takes like that to send with rock bottom. But if you know someone, veteran or not, and you see this, speak to them and say, well, you know, when you're deteriorating, what's your signs? And then I can look out for them.
Yeah.
But my advice, the best advice I could ever give someone, and it's free, right? Learn your own signs. Easier said than done. Mate, it took me more than once to learn mine.
Yep.
And other people have told us this. So I know I'm not just thinking shit. They're witnessing it. They're seeing it. They're telling me you were like a fucking, and just went into a trance. I haven't done that for a while. The second time, I had one of them, and I'd had very little of the seeing me death. But I knew I'm on the road, and it's going to be a bumpy road. I want to be back on the smooth road. And I went back to the doctors, and I went, right, new tablets, back in touch with the Walking with the Wounded. Didn't take any treatment off them, but I rung them to speak to someone.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all it needs. And it's horrible, but you're not alone, no matter how you feel.
Yeah, no matter how much you think you're alone, you're not. Definitely.
And I've seen some people, and I've seen some of the comments, and some of the to non-military or even military people might think, fuck me, one or two comments are hard. They're a bit harsh. You know what? When that person reads all them comments and they look at them harsh comments hit harder than
definitely
the normal ones. It gets them to think a bit more. This person's not going out their way to be nasty towards me. They're getting me to reignite something inside that I've just clearly lost. That fight, that drive, that feeling of succeeding, the I can't, but I can attitude.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I can't do that. You won't, but you can.
Yeah. It's I won't do this and not I can't do this. That's the thing. That's a big thing.
I can't be an astronaut. I can't, like, I might not ever be able to climb Mount Everest. Quite frankly, I don't want to pay all that money to realise I medically can't fucking climb Mount Everest. I'll be like, that's shit. That's like premature ejaculation, that. Like, fuck that. I'd rather just not climb Mount Everest. And I'm not slagging people off who climb Mount Everest, but I just think it's a fucking mountain. And then you look around and see other mountains. What do you fucking do, mate? I can do that on Bent Nevis, can't I? But they're small. It's a smaller mountain, but you know, I'm like, there you go. But each to their own. Everyone likes to do stuff they do. I probably need to do some hobbies. Like people say, oh, why don't you go like hill walking and stuff? I went, I mean, I was in the army. The fuck do I want to do that again? Oh, but it's not the same as when you were doing it.
Why would I want to pay to do that again?
Cabin is tabbing at the end of the day.
Yes.
I didn't like it, but I was paid to do it. I don't want to do something I didn't really like and not get paid for it, regardless if it's a nice fucking weather. I have not got the fucking love anymore. I've got no interest. Like, not interested. Like, I did 2 back-to-back Great North runs when literally no training on the piss the night before, and I got an hour 45 and an hour 46. I know my level of fitness, my drive, my determination. So if I took the effort, put the time and effort in to do training, I would have beaten that time by maybe 10 minutes. I know not everyone's the same. Everyone has their own strengths and their own weaknesses. And a lot of the time, people need to get a hobby. I probably need to get the hobby, but having like a gym lifestyle, I enjoy that, and it's practically a lifestyle, not just a hobby. So I probably need to do something else, just to chuck something else in to keep my mind active. Because once I've been to the gym and I'm eating and I'm stopping and I'm sitting and I'm doing nothing, that's when your mind can start playing tricks on you. That's when you can start and think. And I'm an overthinker. I'm more worse now. I'll literally analyze and overthink. I worry a bit more. I'm more emotional now. I'm not the same Nick as I was 10 years ago. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a different version of me. And yes, there's still flickers of the old me. Like, I remember some of my friends saying when I came home, they were like, I see you've changed, but your humour is still the same. I went, well, there's something that they fucking couldn't do. They could do anything to us, but they still couldn't get us pregnant. Doesn't matter how much I was pushing back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Military sense of humour. Any civvy would just be thinking, I can't believe I've just fucking heard that. This guy's just been locked in an Indian prison, and he's talking about fucking, oh well, they couldn't get us pregnant. Like, imagine if I came out and said that to the media, they would have gone, hang the fuck on, mate. What? I can't believe you just come out and said that. It's just supposed to be a traumatic time. I said, aye, it is, but this is the whole point of being ex-military. We're all tapped in the fucking head, one way or the other.
It might have been traumatic, but not as traumatic as making eye contact.
Especially when you're doing that, and there's eye contact, and you can see the sweat on their forehead, and you're like, hurry up, man.
I've got stuff to do.
It's getting down the zone at 7 o'clock, man. You know what I mean? Like, some of the stuff we all come out with is just, it's what makes us us. And I think if we didn't have that, I think all the veterans who are going through trauma would be a lot worse if we didn't have that.
Oh, definitely.
That military banter and fucking morale. But like, well, I remember like we were sat in the cell and we're from the prison shop, like got a big cake, which was like individually slices. It was like the driest cake known to fucking man. And they went, Nick, how many of them slices can you get fit in your mouth without swallowing? I went, let's have a try then. I think I got like three quarters of the way, and then someone was having a squirty shit, making all these fucking noises and trying to disguise it with the tap, and I just went, fucking cake out of the shop. It was just, you're like a bunch of fucking kids. You're laughing at a bloke squatting over a hole in the floor, having liquid farty shits, and then trying to disguise it with a tap. You know, imagine if that was like a cell with 4 different people, non-military. They would be fucking hell on. Absolute hell on. But when it's 4 military guys from different regiments and 1 different nationality, that's where you're all united together.
Definitely.
That's what keeps you going.
Yeah. Definitely. Got to keep hold of that sense of humour. That's one thing that will never go. 100%.
You know, it's hard, but I appreciate life.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that I'm still here today. I didn't want to ever do that. It just happened.
Yeah.
It's a life lesson that on the back of that, I know no matter how down in the dumps you are, that's not the way forward. Picking up the phone, sending a message, admitting the problem. That's one of the hardest.
That is the hardest, is to admit that.
Admitting you've got a problem in front of grown men while crying and the snot and snotting on. That takes balls.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, women, they're very strong mentally. You know, they will always say, try fucking childbirth. And I'm like, hang on a minute. You had a nutty shit. That's fucking, you know, flipping you from the inside out, that pet.
Yeah.
You had man flu before. How am I? No, but women are that bubbly. They can laugh and cry over fucking tea and biscuits. Them when they get going, them fucking idiots. You know, that's how they are. That's women. Men aren't like that. We're
No.
So when you are that low and you're breaking down in front of men, that is fucking hard.
Definitely.
And I tell you what, men out there, don't ever feel ashamed when you do that.
No.
Because it makes you a fucking bigger person for doing it.
100%. 100%. And I think that's a brilliant way to conclude these two fucking amazing, passion-filled podcasts.
That's how it is.
I've just seen the timer we're on, coming up to the last minute, and
there's
wow,
no script. There's no script.
no script, just all.
It's come from the heart.
And
through how I've experienced my life, I'm sharing it. And like I said, if it helps.
I appreciate everything that you just spoke about, gone through, and are still going through.
But it's been good talking to you, because it's not like being like scripted with questions. It's
no, that's how I like to do it.
A few questions here, chat about everything, tie everything together, and at the end, leave the listeners and with some thinking to do.
Yeah, that's how I like to do it. As though you would be chatting as if you were here in the studio with me, or if we were in a pub.
What I say now, I would say literally over a pint.
That's what I like. We'll have to do that one day, Nick. Definitely. Make sure of it. But before it cuts me off, thank you very much for your time over these last two podcasts. Pleasure's all mine. It's been a privilege. And as you've said, and as I've said, I just want to reiterate what me and Nick were talking about just before it cut off. Make sure you go and check your noggin. Make sure you chat to people. Make sure you start to notice these signs and get yourself checked out before it's too late, and before you go down that dark path, like Nick and like others that have been on the show previously have done. It takes a lot of balls, it takes a lot of bottle to pick up the phone and admit that you have a problem. That also being said, it's not weak for you to have the problem. It's not weak for you to show vulnerability. It's not weak. It's actually adding to your armor. It's actually adding to you being stronger as a person, to understand what is going on with inside your head. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you have a close-knit community of people that will support you when you need it, whether it's family, close friends, brothers in arms, sisters in arms. There are people out there that will help you. And there are people out there that aren't afraid to tell you when you are in the shit. Myself included. My wife tells me when she notices a change in my mood, my behavior, she will say, "Are you all right? Do you need to talk? Are you going through something?" Actually accept it. And if you are in a shit place, fucking say it. I'm in clip. I need the help. Get it sorted. Now, I'm going to add the link to Nick's book within the bio for this podcast. The book is Surviving Hell. And for those of you that have listened to this podcast and part one as well, I'm sure you get a full grasp of the hell that man went through. You know, we don't accept and we take for granted the freedoms that we have within this country. Nick was incarcerated for 5 years for a crime that he didn't even commit. Take that on board and take on board what he said. He was very passionate and very forward with his thinking, especially when it came down to the mental side, the mental health. We all take it for granted, but there is no health without mental health. I'd rather you gob off to me for an hour in private or even on here, than get a phone call, a text, a message saying that you've taken your own life. I would take all the advice that we give on this show from people, past episodes, this current episode, and myself in the beginning, and understand. But thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for taking your time to listen to the podcast and help it grow. It's been a slow few weeks, month of getting guests on, but you know, that's just the nature of the beast. We're not going to stop. We're going to continue. We're still on the journey, and you guys are still on the journey with me. And I thank each and every listener. I thank each and every follower. And yeah, to the next one. Cheers, guys. Catch you in a bit.